What's cracklin', everybody? Welcome back once again to the definitive cereal tier list, where each episode we take a cereal, put on the tier list, so you know how good it is. I'm your host, Tucker. In this episode, we're doing Kashi Go Crunch, which sounds like just an awkward sentence. The last episode was Kashi Go Original, which you might remember listening to. That one did get a D. Not a whole lot going on taste-wise for me, but the standout for that was the three distinct pieces that it had. However, Kashi Go Crunch throws all that out and instead goes for purely just clusters. So we'll see if that change works out for it. There's not a ton of high-ranked cluster cereals. Like the Honey Bunches of Oats Frosted is an A, but I feel like a lot of that has to do with the frosted, so that feels cheating. But like Oat Crunch Cheerios, those are both C's. Those were pretty good. So let's see if this can work out. And it's a touch of cinnamon instead of a touch of honey. So if it's a good cluster and the touch of cinnamon's a bit stronger than the touch of honey, this might be okay. But let's just open it up, see what it's like in there. Okay, similar scent. Like there is the cinnamon, but that you're still getting that same sort of grain, plant-based, I think. Yeah, plant protein sort of scent the other one was giving you. So, yeah, some really big clusters in here. Visually, I think this looks a bit more appetizing than original did. Like I liked the pieces overall, like texture wise it wasn't too off-putting, but visually it didn't look great. This one, despite having all these giant clusters, I think looks a bit more cereal-y, you know? Okay. Go. All right, that I think is noticeably better than the original Kashi Go. I think, obviously, more consistent crunch all around. And I think I can taste like a bit more puff texture than I could overall in the other one, because there are some puffs in here still, but they just stand out a bit more in this one, maybe because comparing hard clusters to these soft puffs, maybe that's what it is. So down with that texture-wise, and I think taste-wise, the cinnamon a lot more present than the honey, so I'm into that. And it's not a really sweet cinnamon, just kind of your average cinnamon taste. I think that's working out okay. I thought at first it was just my imagination that the puff pieces seemed to taste more like honey than they did in the original one. But looking at the ingredients, honey is in there, so I could be tasting it, which is weird that the touch of honey original Kashi Go had these same pieces, didn't get a ton of honey taste. But this one, with a touch of cinnamon, I am noticing the honey taste more. So I don't know what's up with that, but further confirmation that this is better than original Kashi Go. Now it's time for us to go check in on the milk. Yeah, that's not bad. You're getting, I think, a bit more honey taste than cinnamon taste. It's actually a pretty decent blend. I'm into that. It's like the last one I mentioned sort of being like closest comparison was Honey Nut Scooters. But this one, I think it still has that honey, but adds in that cinnamon, and not only is better than that, but also a bit more unique because of that. Yeah, I'm pretty down with that. So it's pretty good milk. I was going to say something about how this defied my expectations, but my expectation was that I would like this more than the original Kashi Go, and that seemed like it was just pretty spot on. With Kashi Go Original, I was saying I didn't have much to compare it to because it was the first Kashi Go we've done. But now on the second Kashi Go Crunch, it's so different from the first one that I feel like I still can't really compare them. Like they both have that same puff in there. There's like sort of honey going on in both, and they got the same like brand name. But that's really all the comparison that I'd have this. Like this obviously again switched to just clusters instead, and I think that actually worked out much better than the three weird different pieces that the other one had. And taste wise, I think the cinnamon and the honey like worked together and were way stronger than just sort of the touch of honey the other one had. So pretty much every way, this surpassed Kashi Go Original. So what I'm gonna do is give Kashi Go Crunch a C, which will make this the currently highest ranked and only C ranked Kashi cereal. So congratulations to Kashi Go Crunch. I think the switch to the clusters worked out pretty well for this. Like the other C-ranked cereals, the Golden Crisp and Honey Smackers, those like sort of puff ones, the puffs do kind of sogify pretty hard, but you got the clusters in there that are bringing some crunch to it. So even as that sogifying getting real soft, you're still getting a bit of crunch at the end and sort of evens it out a bit more. So that obviously worked out pretty well texture-wise. And again, I think the cinnamon and honey taste of it really worked out pretty well, especially when compared to like original Kashi Go, which was just sort of a bit of honey in there. The cinnamon and honey really worked out pretty well. You were getting mainly that cinnamon, but then the hint of honey standing out a bit more, and it just, I thought, worked all together really well. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and in the comments below, post your general thoughts. Let me know if you've tried Kashi Go Crunch and how you thought it compared to Kashi Go Original. If you also thought the clusters were a good change from the original, just sort of smorgasbord of pieces, you can let me know. Or if you found that you really missed like a long strands of piece, you can let me know about that too. But until next time, stay delicious.